I glanced towards the front desk as I walked through the lobby. There she was. I forgot again. I continued 2 more steps and then stopped. I turned back. I had to do this. Her stories were a spindle, and I was Sleeping Beauty. Hi, I smiled once she looked up. I'm Darin. We met on New Year's Eve. You were kind enough to share with me those stories and information in your email afterwards. Yes, I'm Renee, she warmly affirmed. She was black and had the same pretty painted red lips she did before. Were you here tonight for the open house for the summer shares on Fire Island? Yes, she nodded, gesturing to her computer screen. Actually, not much happening right now. Ah, so I didn't scare you away, huh? Her eyes reflected invested, good-natured humor. I inhaled, stalling for the closest thing to the right words. You didn't scare me, of course not. I would like to hear more if you're up for it. God, his name, the poem about pansies. I could have just walked over and looked, I thought. She just smiled. Yes, there was more I could tell you. She sat back, looking around, rubbing her lips together. She leaned back in towards the edge of her desk space. You look a lot like him. What about his lover? His husband, you said? Well, that's what they called each other. Yes, it didn't matter that, well, not that it didn't matter, but, you know, I nodded. She was quiet for a moment. I'll never forget a photo he showed me of the two of them, the street fair in the Castro in the 70s, late 70s. It was, if you had 2 real life versions of the, what are those called? The cartoons, the hyper handsome officers, ranch hands, shirts spilling open, bodies as ridiculous as Barbie dolls. Tom of Finland? This was a foreign voice, a coworker of hers leaving the desk area. Yes, she said to me, you know? I blushed. I nodded, finding the images in my mind. Yes, she continued. If you plucked 2 of those characters, the jaws carved from steel, the mustaches, then soaked them in California sunshine and breathed the breath of life into them, making them as real as you and I, that was David and Walt. The photo David showed me was of him on a rooftop, Castro Street Fair. He's on his back, draped up, a little slope leading to the roof's drop off. And at the brink edge is Walt, shirtless, in a cream-colored cowboy hat. And David's laying back against Walt's legs and lap and chest. David's got on this black tank top and bright blue jeans. And Walt's leaning down into David's mouth and they're kissing. There's a couple people over to the left, further away from the roof's edge. That's the left third of the photo. The middle third is just David and Walt, right at the edge. The right third of the photo is the abyss, the incredible expanse of blue. And I watched the Harvey Milk documentary years later, not the movie. And I was watching this scene of footage of hundreds, maybe thousands, of people lining the streets, and it's sunny, and there's kids on parents' shoulders, and people dancing, and people are smiling. Pink, cream-colored buildings like Spain or something, but it was the Castro, San Fran, and an ocean of balloons is being dropped down from one of the roofs onto the streets below, and it is just this glorious, life-affirming scene straight out of a Disney movie. And that was the Castro Street Fair. And there, in the next shot of the documentary, on one of the roofs, are David and Walt, as they were in the photo he showed me. Did you see them kissing? You know, it was real.